To you.
A very good morning to our audience
All across the world. My guest is live in the UK right now, but we just have a little technical issue. But I want to read a little chapter from his book. It says, usually in my human rights class, I would ask the students to draw up a list of human rights, starting with the most important. Of course, the exercise can be quite subjective, but year after year, the right to life generally makes it to the top two positions. So we could see from this book that the right to life is one of the most obligatory rights, human rights, of being a human being. And the Nigerian Constitution states in section 33 that every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life, save in execution of the sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense of which he has been found guilty. This states that everybody has a right to life and fair hearing in any court, and jungle justice should not be perverted. Now, in this book, this lovely book, The Dogs and the Baboons, it is written by by Dr. Awel Owazirike. He's a doctor in University of Lancashire, and he was talking about the dogs and the baboons. Historically, this statement was made by one of Nigerians' own. He was trying to talk about the dogs and the baboons being soaked in blood if some certain demands were not met. But we didn't get to see the end of what the dogs and the baboons mean in terms of the fact that the person came into power. But what we want to understand from this book is who are the dogs and who are the baboons? You know, in a situation when you're looking at human rights, you have to ask yourself, what do human rights mean? This book talks about a lot of transgressions on human rights in Nigeria. It talks about a lot of people imposing themselves and claiming as the jury, the judge, and the executioner. And no one can be a jury, a judge, and an executioner in a case. It has to be demarcated. That's why we have separation of power. That's why we have delegated legislature, because people don't have to trample on the rights of other people. Now, another thing about this book I want us to talk about is it has three introductions, Dogs and the Baboons. He questions human rights in Nigeria because where he lectures in the UK, he asks the question that should Nigerians be subjected to this inhumanity? There was a time when an Okada driver was lynched because of 100 naira. So in this book, he claims that Nigeria are more uncivilized than our leaders. Now, while we're claiming that our leaders are transgressing or trespassing or impinging on our human rights, we ourselves are impinging on our human rights. So, I don't know, Mr. Awel, this is a very lovely book by Mr. Awel, and I'm really going to make sure that he still comes on the program. And there's a didactic aphorism he uses here. He says, who killed the petty thief? Who clubbed the suspect to death? Who set the witch ablaze? Who mobbed the blasphemer? Was it the evil government? Was it the soldier or the police? No, it wasn't. It was us, you and me. See, not just the corrupt officials that are dragging us backward. You, we have a hand in it. We are all culpable. The culpability of this is jungle justice. Jungle justice should not be tolerated. Jungle justice has no rights or tolerance ratio in this Nigerian system. We cannot say that our leaders should be put to blame when ourselves are convicts. So what are we in this clause? What does that make us? We can also see an interesting statement where he says, I shall talk more about the sad jungle justice later on the book. He wants to explore the right to life. The right to life in Nigeria should be emphasized. We have the right to life. Everybody does. Fair hearing in court. These are things that individually we should not manipulate. It's just so unfortunate that Dr. Awel can't be with us here, but I promise he's still going to be with us on the program. He sent me this copy from London. He's a lecturer in the University of Lancashire, The Dogs and the Baboons. So you can go out there now and grab your copies. Dr. Awel, I think we've done justice to your book, but you're still going to be on the program to talk more about it. My lovely audience, I hope you've enjoyed watching your Poetic interlude on the weekend show. I want to shout out to my lovely producers, Andy Madiki, Didi, my lovely director, Emmanuel Balogun. It's been so lovely. And my friends here on the weekend show. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned because we have more coming up for you on the weekend show.